Yeah, I think a lot of it is how it's being represented too. Is it like a glorious statue, or is it just a relic of history? Because I think the debate is.
Have you seen it?
No,
I haven't either. Let's look at it. Find out what's the statue of Robert E. Lee that they were taking down. I'm curious.
Me too.
What if he was found out he was banging a slave? Oh, that's it? Torch-wielding protesters rally a Confederate statue. Yeah. Can we go large on that, buddy? Wow. That's a beautiful piece of art. You know, I mean, much like when you look at Genghis Khan, it's a beautiful piece of art. You know, you look at some of the statues and things that they constructed from back in his day. You think about it, you go, wow, this is a guy at war.
Yeah, who killed like 5% of the earth.
Yeah, something even crazier. I think he killed like 10% of the world's population while he was alive.
Yeah, this is a tough one because it's because that is a rebel army who lost, so that should be taken down. But at the same time, it's like,
but what do you do with it?
Then do the Natives Americans tell people to take down Washington? You know, then you start.
That's what civilization is. The reason why it all works so well is that we're all intertwined with each other, learning from each other, trying to figure out how to navigate this thing together, competing with each other, improving upon whatever the fuck it is we're working on because of the competition from all sorts of different parts of the world, different cultures and behavior patterns and levels of aggression, levels of intellect, and all of us combined in some sort of a swarming soup of innovation and ideas and communication and trying to figure this thing out together. And as soon as you just lump it all up to white people only, get the fuck out of here with that old stupid idea. That's a stupid idea because you're holding on to this idea that your team lost a battle and that there's an invading army that's in with you right now. No, we're all Americans, okay? This is old shit. 1860 shit, okay? Let it go, stupid. Let's take this down. And let's put up a goddamn glorious Kid Rock tattoo style eagle with a fucking flag behind it. Come on. You really love America? Let's take down the Robert E. Lee and put a hulking American eagle with a fucking flag blowing in the wind.
Just cash.
And then underneath it have a gigantic plaque of everybody that lost their lives in the last 2 wars over the last 20 years. Have that.
The UK is one of the least racist societies actually across Europe.
Oh, dude! Thank you so much! So I didn't get stopped by police sitting outside of my mum's house earlier this year. That didn't happen to me. Oh, thank you. I should have just explained that to the police officers.
But they're talking about ending preferential treatment for Europeans, so we can take people from Singapore and Malaysia and Thailand to come in.
Oh. It's funny that you're a white man saying that. You're a white man saying that there's no racism in this country.
Last video, basically saying skin color doesn't really play a part when a group of people are trying to get to the bottom of the nature of reality itself, what's behind the final door. And some people were very, very upset by that horrific message. So let's just keep going.
Bette Midler was so upset at the Kavanaugh decision that she took to Twitter and said that women are the N-words of the world. Really? But you do know that there was a point where black people were considered subhuman, and then later on was considered 3/5 of a human being.
So let's just keep going.
Supremacy. Fighting our culture and our system of white supremacy. Where's the outrage? Back in I think it was the 50s when Emmett Till was murdered, where was the white outrage?
Skin color doesn't really play a part when a group of people are trying to get to the bottom of the nature of reality.
I didn't see, from everything I've gathered that happened when Emmett Till died, I didn't see any white outrage. There was white silence and white inaction. Same thing when Trayvon died. White silence, white inaction.
So let's just keep going.
Same thing when Eric Garner, Freddie Gray, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, Tamir, these people that were killed because these racist police, the only thing white people have been good at doing for 500 fucking years since the Europeans started this shit, with the colonialization, with the genocide of indigenous people, the enslavement of Africans, the only thing they fucking done well is protect the system and the culture of white supremacy.
So let's just keep going.
That's what we're doing today, and that's what we've always done. So you see these white people out marching for everything, except one, racial injustice.
Black people cannot be racist. Let me repeat that. Black people cannot be racist. To be racist, you must be prejudiced and you must wield institutional power. And although anyone in this country can be prejudiced, anyone can believe something negative about someone based on their race, whether you're black or white. You cannot be racist if you don't wield institutional power.
The nature of reality.
And black people don't wield institutional power in this country. Now, before you start Barack Obama all over me, let me explain that even though there are black people who hold some power, they don't hold institutional power. I'm an educator, so like white judges, white police officers, our systems, our institutions are still dominated by white people. And so that's a big difference. And the outcomes of prejudice are very different.
White power!
One more time.
White power! White power!
I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
Skin color doesn't really play a part when a group of people are trying to get to the bottom of the nature of reality. So let's just keep going.
White power!
But I am so sick and tired of all these people with all their misinformed points of view, where they are just completely bucking eons of history and knowledge that's been earned. There is scientific knowledge like vaccines, antibiotics, like the earth being round. These things have been earned over hundreds of years. And by the way, we all benefit every single day from science that has been earned, that has been experimented on, that has been proved. For example, the science that goes into your phone, the science that goes into giving you fresh vegetables and food in the wintertime, the science that gives you life-saving drugs, whether you have Hodgkin's lymphoma or you have an infection. These are the things that we benefit from every single day. They are empirically proven, meaning that they are measured from independent lines of inquiry. And all of a sudden with the internet, you have these cuckoo birds who come out and start talking about the earth being flat. They start coming out and talking about how there are these giant rings of globalist pedophiles who are controlling the strings, and this virtuous guy named Donald Trump is coming along and saving the day. When you have the benefit of spending a lot of time being educated and seeing and understanding how patterns emerge and studying history and seeing how bad ideas come about and kill people. That's what happens. People die when the wrong ideas win the day. That's really what happens. And people get hurt. And when you stop vaccinating your children blanketly because you don't trust anything about the pharmaceutical companies. And you don't know how they're evil. You don't know how to distinguish between how they are evil, why they're evil, but you just blanket them and say they're all liars, the way Eddie Bravo does. What happens is you get kids who don't get vaccinated. You get kids who start getting measles. My child who doesn't develop herd immunity because the vaccine doesn't take can get measles. It just goes on and on. And when bad ideas win the day, it is destructive. It is dangerous. That's why I get passionate. That's why I get mad when anybody says that Kyrie Irving has a point when he says the earth is flat.
Never said he had a point. You done?
But why
Never
are
said
you,
he had a point.
But why are you even saying that we should be saying that his opinion should be respected?
It's not, you don't have to respect him. You barely know who he is. I'm saying if he says the earth's flat under my research, I don't give a fuck. He's not a researcher. But you can't call him a dummy. You don't even know the guy.
Of course I can.
KB.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It'd be like saying, Brennan, watch this. It's literally the equivalent of me saying, you know that some humans can fly, right? Like they have wings. I've looked at the science.
See, if you said that, I wouldn't call you a dummy. I'd laugh at you.
Well,
like you're
okay, so I'll just laugh at him.
That's fine.
I don't think he may not be a dummy across the board, but at a certain, like, intelligence is compartmentalized, right?
I would say that's ridiculous that he said that.
Thank you.
I would not say Kyrie Irving is a dummy. I would say that's so silly.
I would say
he could be trolling.
Yes. So in other words, it's a dumb thing.
Now
if he's serious,
now see Tyson, whatever the fuck.
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
No, he's not. He's definitely not.
If he's serious, it would be a dumb thing to say.
But if all we do is if people with opinions who aren't research are dummies, we're all fucked. We shouldn't listen to anything you just said.
That's not true. That's what I was just arguing. It's not true because we do know some things are true. We do know some things are true.
I know,
right?
I know.
And the reason we know those is because they've been experimented on, but more importantly, we live in a world and we benefit from them, right? We all do.
But remember, just 20 minutes ago, you're saying how great is that the internet's the wild, wild west. Right. This is one of the
I wouldn't censor him. I'm not calling for censorship. What I'm saying is that if he's serious, and all these flat Earth people are actually kind of crazy.
I don't think it's flat Earth. That's not a real move. It's not like a real movement.
It kind of is.
I only hear from Eddie Bravo, and this is the first I've heard of it. Other than that, I don't think you need to go on a tirade and educate everyone on history. And
I'm not doing
stuff.
that, Brennan. I'm saying you can't put my opinion on the same level as this fucking guy when he says the earth is flat.
I'm saying we got to be careful who we call dummies just because he's not a researcher, because you're not a researcher.
And I'm going to say to you, I don't have to be a researcher to know that some things are true and some things are false.
I agree.
Okay? And I'm also going to say to you that if
that's my point.
If you're going to get on to announce to the world that the earth is flat and I know the science and you're not trolling and you're serious, then I'm going to say you're dummy.
We don't know if he's serious though.
Exactly. But if he is, then you're a bit of a dummy, and I can't listen to you about anything other than basketball, I would imagine at this point. Or take responsibility for people like me saying you're a fucking idiot.
Which I think he is, because you can see it says Kyrie finds the reactions hilarious.
Oh, there you go. All right.
There you go.
Then that's fine.
You think you should start with believing everything?
No, I don't necessarily have an opinion on climate science. I really don't. Right. So my question to you is, if you want to step outside of the scientific consensus, which is vast and involves 10,306 scientists, I don't necessarily have an opinion on climate science. I really don't. And just say I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Even if you're right, you don't have enough information to say that.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You don't think we have to care about the environment? I don't necessarily have an opinion on climate science.
No, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit?
No.
Science,
Mouthpiece.
propagandist.
Yeah. No. Okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. I'm not saying we need to trash the environment. But do I believe in climate change? No.
You don't believe in climate change?
Well, I think the climate always changes, I guess is what I should say. Do I believe that this is an issue that is global warming, which they've changed conveniently. They got rid of the word once scientists started disproving it. Now they only say climate change. No, I think that was just a way to extract dollars from Americans.
Okay, but this is an incredibly complicated subject.
Right.
And if you would have to talk to a bunch of different scientists, science, propagandists, and see how they gather data and see what they understand about CO2 levels and what's the danger of them and what can combat it and what could not. not? Have you done all this, or
No,
do you
so I
take
think-
this flippant opinion
listen,
based on the
I'm
party
not. This
line?
is not this, but
What
I
have
would
you
not
read?
be able to.
It's very little, very little disparity.
But-
Most scientists, the vast majority agree that human beings are negatively affecting climate change.
Science propagandists.
The vast majority. So you think that the very few scientists that disagree with the
Yeah.
consensus are the ones that are correct?
Well, I think if something is, it's either subjective or it's objective, and there are objective truths, right? But it's subjective if you're saying that there are some, and I don't think there's very little. There are some that don't get paid to go on TV. There's some that are not Bill Nye, who are not funded scientists, and that has been a whole.
Well, Bill Nye's not a scientist.
I know.
He's not. He's
It broke my heart when I found out.
Science
Mouthpiece.
propagandist.
Yeah, but that's the point.
He's
and,
a science. No, that's not a good word.
I don't think Al
mean
Gore is a
propaganda in a negative-
scientist.
He's not.
Right.
But Bill Nye is like a science influencer or
Right.
a science entertainer.
Yeah. He's like a.
But he doesn't have a background in actual science. He's not a scientist.
Right.
He doesn't have a PhD. He's got an
I learned about him in
undergraduate-
school. Like, everything I did
Yeah.
in science had to do with Bill Nye.
Well,
the
he
science guy.
promotes science, and
Right.
science is not bad.
Really, nigga? But the real problem is with climate change is that, for sure, there has been ups and downs throughout the history of this planet. They're observable. They follow them in. It was one of the subjects that I had earlier today with Dr. Robert Schoch. Science rules. In 2014, the vast majority, 87% of scientists, said that human activity is driving global warming. Yet only half the American public ascribe to that view. So, what website?
Well, Scientific American is not necessarily a random website.
T-minus 7 seconds. Yeah, I don't believe this like at all. Just so you know.
You don't believe it like?
You think you should start with believing everything?
No,
Believe it.
I
Like,
believe most of the
87%?
time the consensus of scientists that are studying the data. But,
Like,
but
look
this
up-
is my question.
Yeah.
Why are you so sure? This is a
No,
extremely,
because what you just said- because
but
what you
this is
just
an
said-
extremely
Yeah.
complicated subject.
Well, let's just be clear. Yeah. Global warming, climate change is definitely real. It's happening. Well, the question is, why is it happening?
Oh, no, that's not. You're misrepresenting the issue. The issue is people think that human beings are exacerbating climate
Right.
change to the point where there's a tipping point. We cross over that tipping
Right.
point. We're going to deal with huge problems that could be corrected if we act now and put a lot of funding into climate control.
Okay.
And this is what Howard Bloom was on talking about a few days ago. He was talking about that the real future involves the technology of climate control.
And that what we have to be really careful of is letting it get too far where you can't ever stop it and pull it back. This is what scientists are warning about. This is why they want emission standards. This is why they want to figure out how to get people to be aware of the fact this is a real issue.
Now, irregardless, human beings, if they never existed, the Earth has constantly gone through cycles. The question is not whether or not the Earth has gone through cycles of cooling and warming.
Right.
The question is, are we exacerbating that? The vast majority of scientists say we are.
惯性是物质的性质之一。
Now, this could negatively impact all sorts of coastal cities. This could be a gigantic problem. This is not like propaganda that's drummed up by some sort of
Science
Mouthpiece.
propagandist,
Yeah.
big business that seeks to make money off of this, or some sort of a
Well, they were making money off
organization.
of it.
Al Gore might have made some money off
No,
of
but
it.
like
who's making money
the
off
agreement
of
that
it?
we
Really, nigga? Who's
and the
America?
parent can't
but
sit
why,
here.
But
But
here's
I
the
can't- I
question.
can't
But why have a belief? Why have a belief as to whether or not global warming is real or not real? I don't necessarily have an opinion on
Right.
climate science. I really don't.
Because
if
I
you
just
don't have a
find that
background
when
in
things
it, you don't
you're
understand the
correct.
science. It's not presented to us just by Al Gore.
Right.
Al Gore made a film,
Right.
and he's been called like the first green billionaire. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's made a shitload of money off of that.
And he flies in his private plane because he's so worried about the emissions.
It's possible, yes. One of the things that they're figuring out how to pull carbon out of the atmosphere and even possibly reuse it. Really, nigga? There's all sorts of things that people are trying to do. Right, but why
Right.
are you saying that you don't think it exists?
I just don't.
Here it is.
Maybe
Studies-
because it got so politicized.
Studies into scientific agreement on human-caused global warming, and look at all the studies.
Look at all those chickens.
This is the Union of Concerned Scientists.
Yeah, they almost. It's a pretty broad
Right.
consensus.
Who are they polling? Is it the people that are a part of?
306 scientists to confirm over 97% of climate scientists agree, and over 97% of the scientific articles find that global warming is real and largely caused by humans.
That's just the whole
But you're
point.
saying you don't believe it.
I don't just start at a
here's the
place of
thing.
not believing something.
No, it's not.
You think you should start with believing everything.
No, it's not believe either or. Not believe yes, not believe no.
Yeah.
But don't say you don't believe.
Yeah.
Learn about it.
Yeah.
Learn about it and then have an opinion. But you're stating this opinion without having any real understanding of what climate science is.
But that's exactly what an opinion is. I'm not going, like I said, if you said that, Candace, you went on to 10,000 college campuses and you said that global warming wasn't real, then we'd have a problem. You and I are just having a conversation.
Yeah, but why have an opinion on something that you don't have data about? This is my question. Like, I don't necessarily have an opinion on climate science. I really don't. Is that the vast majority of people who study it are in agreement that human beings are affecting it.
Democratic
We're talking
Party.
about a different subject.
I know, but I'm just
politics versus science.
But this has been politicized. That's the thing.
Science has been politicized.
Yes, it has. Global warming in particular has been politicized. 100% it has been politicized. At the end of the day, I don't really care.
It has been politicized.
Really, nigga?
But I think that's also maybe why you're saying you don't agree with it so quickly.
Right.
Because it's an ideological right-wing point.
Right.
Is that global warming isn't real.
Right.
If you're one of those people that thinks global warming isn't real, you're almost always on the right.
No,
Scientists get funded. That is a fact.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that the funding affects the scientific research and the data, which they all agree on. And this is universally across the entire planet.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of scientists would not stake their reputation on false data.
What they're saying is not that the only reason why the world is getting warm is because human beings. That the only reason why the climate isn't totally static for the rest of eternity is because of human beings. What they're saying is we are negatively impacting our own environment, and we're doing it because we have poor technology and we use coal and fossil fuels and emissions, and we're raising our CO2 levels.
If chimps were everywhere and they had full freedom the way people do, we'd have a fucking serious problem. It would be chaos. You wouldn't be able to leave your house. If there was as many chimps as there were people, you would never be able to get to your car. They would mug you every chance they got. They would rip your fucking feet off and fuck your ass. If you don't think chimps will steal babies and eat them, you haven't been paying attention to the literature. Crazy 800-pound silverback bursting through the tree. Samoan babies that can run fast. I mean, that's what's going to survive. Fucking diesel, square-headed, destroying machine, fast twitch, muscle fiber, and angst. And finally in his life, he's become special after years of neglect.
I got molested.
Did you?
Yes.
The fuck out.
Yep.
That's pretty
It was
legit,
incredible.
Callan.
Whoa.
I know.
That's amazing.
I know.
He sucked your dick?
No, he never sucked my dick.
How close did he get to it?
He just had it. Well,
It was hard.
We should be very careful about artificial intelligence.
We will be like this ridiculous biological shitting, pissing thing trying to stop the gods.
It could be terrible, and it could be great. It's not clear.
Do you think that it's likely that we will merge somehow or another with this sort of technology
Here it
and
is.
will augment what we are now? Or do you think it will replace us?
Pause. Pray. AI is the one that seems prayer like probably the best. Like
For us.
Yes. Like if you can't beat it, join it. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. If you can't beat it, join it.
Like if you can't beat it, join it.
We should be very careful about artificial intelligence. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
If you can't beat it, join it.
HAL 9000 would be easy. It's way more complex than, it would put HAL 9000 to shame.
The pineal gland. The special physical organ of perception is the brain, and perception is located in the aura of the pineal gland. This aura answers in vibration to any impressions, but it can only be sensed and not perceived in the living man. During the process of thoughtful manifesting in consciousness, a constant vibration occurs in the light of this aura, and a clairvoyant looking at the brain of a living man may almost see with the spiritual eye 7 scales, the 7 shades of light passing from the dullest to the brightest.
Tonight, we're taking a chance as we tap into our spiritual side. Anybody know what their spiritual side is? That's good.
God, I've tried so hard. I just belong to some other age, I guess. You know, humans don't communicate anymore, or they gibber and jabber about stuff that doesn't matter, and then they send a text message and never communicate with anybody about anything of substance. It's spiritual death.
Prosím pěkně, můžeš nám říct, v čem jsme celebrity?
Can you tell us why in what we are like celebrities?
Humans are the greatest creators in this universe.
Ľudia sú najväčší tvorcovia v tomto vesmíre.
They create the worst and the best.
Vytvárajú to najlepšie aj najhoršie.
And what fascinates the rest of us
čo nás fascinuje
is that humans are at their best when everything is at its worst.
Without the persistence of voters and Americans everywhere getting out to every election, democracy will not flourish, but it can and it will. So, I say to those politicians that say change will not come, I say we will not stop until every man, every woman, every child, and every American can live without fear of gun violence.
Für Sie genügt nicht die bloße Ablegung des Bekenntnisses, ich glaube, sondern das Schwuze.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Cryon of Magnetic Service. And there would be those, as there always are, who would say, impossible. Impossible. Let those now, in these few brief moments of this message, be filled with an energy that could not possibly be from themselves, as proof that the portal has been opened and the door has swung. And what you have are simple words from the other side of the veil through a human being, the way all Scripture has always been delivered on the planet. Humans have written all of it, through the divine connection that is built into the DNA. All of it. And this is no different.
The question is, what is it going to take for humanity to unlock the door and take our rightful place with our brothers and sisters in the stars? I mean, we're all doing lots of work, you guys are especially. What is it going to take?
It's going to take a breakthrough, and we have to stop waiting for the breakthrough and be the breakthrough. So many of us are sitting back, we're waiting for someone to walk up to a stage, to a microphone, and tell us, guess what? Advanced technologies and ETs exist. Well, if that ever does happen, I doubt we're going to be getting the full truth. What we really need to do is come together as a community and begin to demand the release of suppressed technologies.
I want to tell you guys the big enchilada.
Okay, please, the big enchilada.
Do I have to wear these headphones?
What do you know about aliens? Are aliens real?
This is really big. So,
okay.
The question is, what does Donald Trump know about aliens?
Oh yeah, what does he know now, right? Because he's in the office.
I don't know.
That would be the first thing I did. I would run to the office and I'd go, who's got the alien documents? Who's got them?
All right, let me give you my best deep research approximation. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to give you the big enchilada. Joe, there are aliens in this room right now.
For real?
Yeah, you're not of this world, bro.
Me?
You're the alien.
Oh, wow, I didn't know.
Well, here's what the elite believe. And let me be very clear because the media will take this out of context. I only go with what I can prove.
Oh, thank you.
And people can't even handle that. There's armies. We're fighting a pedophile conspiracy. But beyond that, it's a vampire conspiracy in that they are interdimensionally sucking the essence of our youth.
Right.
And they believe they're possessed by an off-world entity.
They do?
And I want to say something else. One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers from the cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. So I really want to make sure that this gets into the film. The rules are a body of spiritual principles that they must follow in order to be allowed to exist. Now, what do I mean by allowed to exist? I mean that they are aware that there are benevolent forces that will prevent them from achieving their goals unless we give them permission to enslave us.
What got you so motivated to join Bernie's campaign and his fight?
Well, everything that I've done over the years has been about the people, be it from the different organizations I'm on the board of, taking across multiple platforms and issues, everything from housing to HIV/AIDS to drugs to nonpartisan voting, get out the vote. Just everything that I've been a part of is just, I understand that the intersectionality of what's going on with people and that we need to be engaged. And so if you're caring about the environment, all of these different things that you have to participate, just start someplace. And so I've as a New Yorker and someone who can multitask, I've been a part of a lot of different things. And this is a candidate who I've looked at for a long time. I've admired him for a long time. I've seen him out there doing his thing. And when he decided to run for president, and the people responded in the way that they did, not because of the mass media, not because of corporate media, not because he has a household name or a brand name, but specifically because of his message that he's had integrity with for dozens of years.
Look, when you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball, the Lady Gaga, the Justin Bieber, who gives you these carbon tax messages. They tell your kids they got to love Justin Bieber, and then Bieber says, hand in your guns, pass the Cybersecurity Act, and the police state's good, and then your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal, and when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive of the 200 and something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer and explorer. Going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty. It's incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shut your mind talking about Justin Bieber.
Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. We're out here basking in the glorious sunshine. A message to all of humanity. What is your message to all of humanity? It will be great if people who are tuned into infinite waters share their vision for humanity. My message to all of humanity is that we are so much greater than we have been told. We are amazing, each one of us.
If heaven on earth is possible, and we believe it is, then this is how we might get there, for each of us individually and all of us as a collective. This video will be split into 2 parts, a vision of the future, and then the roadmap to how to get there.
So I can't live my life that way. So I live my life where I keep learning, I keep growing, I keep loving, I keep laughing, and I'm trying to leave a decent legacy of a meaningful life by constantly looking for ways I can be helpful. And my prayer, a simple prayer before I walk out on every stage is use me, Lord. And when you do that, it's like, if you get out of the way, my greatest gift is getting out of the way. I know that sounds silly to some people, but it's really true. I'm not an ultra religious person, but I'm extremely spiritual, and I believe the force of life comes through me, it comes through you, it comes through all of us.
They say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons,
in
boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. Do you believe in icons? I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it.
Today we're going to discuss one of the most critical and important topics that we will ever discuss in spirit science. Among all of the things we have discussed, this is one that needs to be taken seriously and is the most important part of the evolution of consciousness that we are experiencing today. Today we shall discuss the power of the heart.
Mastering the art of manifestation. Right. How is that different from the law of attraction?
It's very, very different.
Tell me.
Yeah. The law of attraction, and I'm not here to put down the law of attraction. I think the
law of attraction and The Secret opened people up to a new way of thinking.
Absolutely.
It had its flaws because it allowed some people to think that all you had to do was think about a bicycle and there it would show up.
Yeah.
And the key word that you use in here over and over and over again in every chapter is that in order to attract or manifest anything, you have to be in alignment
with your source.
With your source.
With God.
With
you
God.
have to be just,
it's about
you have
alignment.
to stay connected to the ocean.
That's right. Because you can't just sit around and wishing for stuff.
So again, New World Order, don't think that you're going to sit there and manipulate the warriors that make this country so strong and destroying themselves and their family. They now know about your plan to bring us all down, and they're now working overtime to defeat you and have a system that's pro-human. So you get ready for that, and know, if you want a war with humanity, I'm telling you to feel my spirit leaning up against yours, globalist. If you want a war, you better believe you got one, and my soul and my will and everything of my ancestors is against you. So you feel that new order and George Soros, and everybody to pray with me that God strike you down politically and lay you low and show you for the scum you are. The truth is, in God's plan, you're only here to ignite humanity and bring us to the next level. You are failures from the foundation of the earth.
Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
So the basic thing that Neville taught me, and a lot of this is from the teachings of Neville, Neville Goddard, who died in the 1970s. He basically said that all of us have within us this amazing capacity to manifest and attract anything that we want into our life. So how we call it, what words that we use, we have to be able to say, in The Secret they say you get what you want, and what is missing. And what Neville said and what has come to me and what I got from the I Am discourses and what I get from the New Testament, which I read before I did this, is that you say, I will attract into my life what I am.
If you follow those protocols, it's like having an IP address, which is what we use to go online in order to notate a website. Every website has its own IP address. These spiritual beings, such as Baal and Moloch, which they still do ceremonies for today, such as in Bohemian Grove. There is a giant effigy, stone effigy of an owl. That's the god Moloch. The god Moloch goes all the way back to Rome and Carthage, in which they were offering child sacrifices to this god in exchange for power.
It's like humanity has this potential that is untapped. Even they aren't aware of it.
Je to ako keby mali ľudia tak obrovský nedosiahnutelný, nedotknutelný potenciál, že ani oni si ho neuvedomujú.
But so it means that a lot of energy from the universe is able to move through a physical human.
Takže to znamená, že veľmi veľa energie môže tiecť cez fyzického človeka.
And you can never underestimate them.
This is a human. This is what we look like. This is what we act like.
Happening now, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders is here in Atlanta to meet with former President Jimmy Carter for a discussion on human rights. Channel 2's Richard Elliott is live at the Carter Center, and people from more than 24 countries are there taking part in this event. Richard?
And so in this atmosphere, I answer these questions. Where is God at these times, you might ask? And so again, I will present to you what is happening on this planet that you need to know. God does not interfere with the light-dark balance of humanity. Humanity generates the light-dark balance, and then God is invited into the light parts. And if there are more light parts than dark parts, you are going to have revelation.
The year is 1847. A young archaeologist named Austin Henry Layard was Indiana Jonesing his way around ancient Mesopotamian ruins, where he properly identified and henceforth discovered the ancient Assyrian city-state of Nineveh in an area now known as Iraq. In an absolutely incredible discovery, he found 22,000 clay tablets hidden in the depths of the city. These tablets contained cuneiform, which today is one of, if not the earliest known writing systems known to man.
One has to wonder if Akhenaten may have been some type of an extraterrestrial hybrid, and that is why he introduced this one God rule.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.